All right, ding, 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 everybody. This is Troy Vaughn, also known as Trey Amazing, your favorite part-time stripper, part-time church pastor, but full-time dating commentator. And it is a new year, and we are back at it like we do. We are here with the intrepid. Everybody, you know what? I can give an introduction. I've seen your social media, but I think your number one, your product speaks for itself. But let everybody know we have CL Davis in the building. I can do, my background is not going to do him justice. CL Davis, please break it down who you are and what you do.
2255 Custom Hats, where I think we offer the greatest quality as far as like you being able to design your own hat, your own custom. I think that we are one of the true hat companies that's totally to you. So if you have it in mind, you can hold it in your hand. That's it, 225 Custom Hats.
225 Custom Hats, okay. I do like that. The fact that I can create a hat based on my personality, my interests, and the hat will reflect that.
Exactly.
All right, I like that. So, just really quickly for the people out there listening, my wonderful girlfriend and I, we were at the mall a few weeks, well, before the holidays, we were eating, and I saw a gentleman, we both saw a gentleman at the restaurant wearing a dope hat. And I remember making a comment to my girl, like, yo, that's a flat hat. That hat he got on is real dope. But I didn't know him. I didn't just want to walk up to him and interrupt his meal, while he's eating. So my girlfriend and I left, but we ended up seeing him again in the mall, and I just caught his attention. I was like, I just really wanted to introduce myself. I'm like, yo, man, where'd you get that hat? He told me. He said, yo, this is, 2255 hat. Gave me the business card, told me where to find you, and I was like, bet, I really like it. I mean, it was one of those hats. It was eye catching. It was one of those like, yeah, I really, really was interested in it, and it was great advertising. So really quickly, kind of give us some background. How did you get started on, making custom hats? Because I mean, this is, for those that don't know, this is Atlanta, Georgia. You can get, some nice, dressy and formal hats, but custom hats. What gave you that idea?
Well, actually, I was wearing hats, and a lot of people was asking me like, man, where you get your hats from? And a friend girl was like, she knew I could buy some hats wholesale. So initially, that's just where we started, and it just grew from there. So we started with felt hats initially, and then of course we graduated to the wool hats. What happened?
Okay. So would you consider yourself an up and coming entrepreneur?
Uh, no, I wouldn't. I think we all have a talent, you know, and a talent that'll bring us wealth. Most people just haven't tapped into it, So for me, I wouldn't say I'm up and coming. I say I'm here.
You're here.
And 2255 Custom Hats is here. And I hope that's inspirational for somebody else who has an idea. Because the fact of the matter is that if you can hold it in your head long enough, eventually you'll hold it in your hand. So then let me digress for a second. Initially, my thoughts were to start with custom shoes, and then COVID came about, and it kind of derailed that. So I had the 225 custom already in my imagination, and when the hats came about, I think I just kind of just transformed from what I wanted to do with the shoes, and it wound up being with the hats. Because part of the caveat about shoe line would have been that each I'll keep that right there because it's kind of like a secret to that. But you being able to design your own shoe, so now you being able to design your own hat, so they're kind of like connected to hip, so to speak.
Okay. So you built an empire. You're continuing to build your empire because
I like that word empire. You see that? Yeah, I like that.
We're gonna go with that.
We'll go with that. Okay.
You're continuing to build and add to it. What you're doing is not the typical 9 to 5. What most people out here doing. A lot of people out here hustling, getting their money, collecting a paycheck. What you're doing is you're getting that money, but you're not. It is not the typical or conventional go in, punch in at 9 and clock out at 5. How does this, as someone who's already built and continuing to build, how does this, resonate as far as quality of dating or, with maintaining a relationship. The fact is, this is something that you are ownership. You're not going in and clocking into a boss. But how does this, what does this spell out in terms of maintaining a relationship and dating?
Well, it most certainly can affect it, your
Mhm.
dating or your marriage. For me, initially starting this company, everything is just 2255.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be times that I'm out, and on a date, and it's always 2255.
Mm-hmm.
Until I see exactly where I want our company to be. That's what it has to be for me, and that's not all. It's not always the most accepted thing in a relationship, but you have to be committed.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my opinion. Whatever it is that you so desire, you have to be committed and dedicated to it. And hopefully you'll have somebody that understand that. It's not always. It's just kind of hard if I'm somewhere and somebody says, "Man, that's a nice hat," and then I give them a card or tell them about my business and how what I'm wearing you can be wearing. I've seen it affect a relationship. We're supposed to be on a date. This is our quality time. And I'm thinking, man, hell, without no money, there is no quality time.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking in my mind. I can't necessarily say that to her, but it's what I be thinking, Romance without finance?
Mm-hmm.
Right. No. The money, honey. And then we can own a restaurant or anything we choose to own when you have the money.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be most men's mentality when it comes to building a business. And hopefully anybody, be dedicated to it. And in the long run, whatever it is you so desire, you'll have. Dedication, commitment, discipline, just part of it.
And so the commitment and discipline needed, to grow a successful business like you have, how that affects a woman and dating. I mean, do they, long term, do you see this, like, okay, in order to give that good energy to the business, I have to take away some from the relationship, or I may have to sacrifice, one, for the other. Do you see that, playing out a lot, or?
The word sacrifice?
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely a sacrifice. I don't know, I'm a Capricorn. I don't know if you know this, and she shares with you, I just recently found this out, that as far as like the astrology is concerned, that the Capricorn is the brightest in all the sky. I'm a Capricorn.
Okay.
And in order for you to be bright anywhere, there has to be a certain level of energy. My energy has always been, if I want it, I'm going to have it. Now, as it relates to a relationship, if I have you, then I'm expecting for you to be a part of what it is that I intend on having. And vice versa. Has to go both ways. I just know that for me, man, listen, I'm building, my empire.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say it's always going to be, no, it won't always be. I won't always be as ardent or as adamant as I am today. I know at some point, there'll be a cruise control. But right now, man, we just starting out, so there is no cruise control. No cruise control button to press right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I am more mindful of it today when I'm out on a date or what have you, that I'm out on a date.
Mm-hmm.
And that should be a time that's pleasurable, but if I'm not on a date, it's always work. It's always 2255 custom mess. First of all, I love it. Anything you love doing is and I digress, is never work.
Right, I agree.
It's just I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here, and I'm here to build. And I'm here to take care of, or take hold of, rather, of any open door. Open door where it may be one man, or just like with you. How important it is that when we do make our that there has to be quality. Where you say you see a man, you see that man, and that man by way introduces you to me. You understand what it is I'm saying? So it's vitally important, especially if you're out. And I remember years ago, I shared this story. I worked for a company here in Atlanta called Bright Creations.
Mm-hmm.
And my very first day there was a guy who came in. He was very modest in his dress, so to speak. Very modest in his dress. And that guy spent $3,000 in that store that day.
Mm-hmm.
And it stayed, it was a number of years, well over 20 years ago. And it just stayed on my mind that you never, ever count a man's pocket by the way he looks. It have never crossed my mind in a million years that this guy would spend as much as or circulate. I tend to use the word circulate as it relates to money. But in that store that day, he circulated $3,000. The point that I'm making is that wherever I am, people always ask me, because if you look at my page, there are some folks who are recognizable as being stars. Well, hell, every man's a star when he patronizes 2255 Custom X.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that's a philosophy wherever I am. And dealing with every man or woman, you are a star. You the star. You are the star. You are essentially a star.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we try to give the 2255 Custom X. That kind of experience that when you come to us, that there are no big eyes, no little U's. Every man is equally as important. When I'm out and how I deal with people exemplifies that. If that makes sense is what I'm saying.
Right.
As far as like, when you're out in dating. So that's a level of energy that I think too is that's looked at as maybe if I'm out, that maybe I shouldn't be as how can I say, maybe that energy shouldn't be as high.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a necessary energy. Because again, that meal got to be paid for. You understand what I'm saying?
Right, you're there on a date getting paid
right,
for,
it's got to be paid
about
for
the money that you makes me hear. So no, I mean it makes sense.
Right.
I mean, it's like regardless if you're a star, regardless if you're a supernova. I mean, you're doing your thing. Before we switch gears, one last question in this regard: to any woman out there who is interested in dating someone who's trying to build an empire and who's an entrepreneur, what are some tips or some steps that you would recommend to a woman saying, like, look, if you meet a man who is trying to build, who has a vision, and who's realizing that vision and growing his empire, these are some things that you need to be aware of, or these are things you need to consider. What would be some things like that? What was some steps that you could impart on, women who may be viewing this video?
I would say be a help me and not a takeaway. If it's important to him, make sure that's important to you. I've been very blessed in this arena, or where I may have been lacking. She's been a great help me for me. And I think that's almost like, the yin and yang of things. Oh gosh, I like to remember the saying in reference to hell. Oh, matter of fact, it's T.D. Jakes. As a matter of fact, that hell, if he's at home all the time, he can't make no money. He can't take no money. No bills can't get paid. So that's a part of it. That you building two relationships.
Mm-hmm.
If he's a stand-up guy, he's gonna take you along. For wherever he goes, you'll be right there. It's kind of like it just comes with the territory. As much as she may be, an entrepreneur, and he has, there have to be times wherein, he has to be as supportive of her. I think a great part of it is one, communication. And if it is something that he may be missing, find a way to say it where it's not so offensive.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be just as right as you can be here. This trash needs to be taken out. I don't think the woman should take the trash out. But that's okay. Send me a note or do something other than, hey, why is the trash not taken out? Well, hell, the trash ain't taken out because I worked over these ants. You understand? But we do get the trash needs to be taken out. I'm just saying that find out, the things he may be lacking. Mm-hmm. How can you help in that? What's his long-term goals? Has he ever had a business before? Oh gosh, it's a number of things, man. I would tell men and women as it relates to a relationship. How good is he with finances? That's something that's very important in every relationship. Is it his first business? Some things like if you got a guy, and I'm not knocking this, but if you got a guy that's had 1,000 business ideas and none of them panned out, that might not be the guy. That might not be the guy you want to invest your time, your talent, your energy into. Maybe not. Just maybe not. I'm talking about. But you are. I think that we show the best of ourselves when it is that we help others along. I think it was Muhammad Ali that said that our rent here on earth is our service. I think we're called to be servants to one another. You know, I think it's also important, equally as important, that you serving at the right table. You know, and somebody who, and that's something, man, that you have to hear from inside yourself as to whether or not where you are serving, there's going to be longevity. Because there's something that speaks to all of us that says that, man, this ain't going to go nowhere, or this is it. And if you get that, this is it, and then you be all in, and you know, and everything else will fall in place.
Okay.
That's what I believe.
I like that. I like that. So let's segue into something else as it relates to dating and relationships. And this is something that I brought to your attention. We were communicating prior. Is the men's evolving style. So and I'm gonna use myself as an example. As I get older, I'm not dressing the exact same way I did in my 20s and 30s. I still wear the fitted hat to the back sometimes, but now occasionally I can be seen with a more dressier hat, or golf hats, or just my overall style is changing because I do want to reflect the fact that I'm maturing, not getting old, just
right.
maturing,
right,
maturing, and so I want my style to reflect that. But we also take notice as men of how the ladies respond to it and how ladies feel about our fashion. To see a man of a certain age, dress in what they perceive. Okay, that's a little too immature, or that's a little too young. He's 40 years old. Why is he wearing that? In terms of men's fashion, what are some things that you see evolving? And as far as, okay, fellas, as you get older, wear more of this, maybe wear less that. Maybe put away the baggy clothes and maybe put on a suit every now and again, put on some dress lights. Don't have to wear jeans everywhere. What are some examples of fashion that you feel like men can benefit from that maybe women want to see more out of us?
Well, I'll take how you started off. There's so many guys today, especially my New York brothers, that are saying that, man, look, I got to come out of this fitted cap. I'm in my 40s, 50s, and you come out of this fitted cap, man, and start wearing the fedoras. I think it does come with. I'm not sure about the word maturity, as much as I am looking to be in a place of wherein your style is just different. Because you got some young guys that's wearing suits and the fedoras. I think one thing that helped men's fashion was the fact that you can now wear tennis shoes with suits.
Seeing a lot of that. I haven't done it yet, but I've been seeing it.
That's like a really, really big thing, man.
That's kind of radical.
So, I think the suit is easy. It's just that most guys don't like dress shoes. So now you can wear more casual shoe, sneakers, what have you, with suits. And then I think too, at a certain time too, that you don't always want it to be the same. Everything evolves. Nothing stays the same. Nothing never stays the same. And everything about life should be lifeward. So I would think that over time, your style or sensibility as it relates to style will grow. To try different things. But if you want to wear a baseball cap, or perhaps for me, here's what I like to do. I would like to one day, like Tom Ford wears a suit every day. I like to evolve to that. I'm not sure if it's necessarily maturity as I am, that, man, I just love the fact that even when he goes to the movies, he has a suit on. I think that's just the flyest thing, man, So I'm looking to evolve to that, to a suit every day along with my fedoras. That's what I'm looking for. And what I would suggest for men is, there are a couple of men in my life that I patterned my dress behind. I think here in the last several years, it would be Arthur Blank for me. He'd be my number one, Tom Ford as well. But I say Arthur Blank because he's always pristine looking. Everything he wears appears to be tailor-made. And he gives his essence, and Arthur Blank, who's the owner of the Falcons, by the way, gives this persona that he just don't take no shorts, but in a very polite way. I just can imagine somebody coming and say, hey, man, look, is this on sale? What's the price if I get two? I just don't see that happening to him. So in my mind, I think it's very important too that we do set our sights on people, man, that have gone before us, that have done really, really great things, and kind of emulate, or to a degree, only to a degree, pattern yourselves behind them. So for me, it'd be Arthur Blank, men like Tom Ford. I think maybe the energy of Puffy when he walks into a room. When Puffy walks into a room, you know he's there. His energy, man, is bananas. And you can't deny that. It's there. So those are like a couple of guys that I would like my energy to emulate. My pastor, McKinstry, man, this guy, man, has such a serious walk. You know, it's like him and Denzel. I don't know whose walk is the better between the two. I know we were out of town, right? We were in Ohio, and I was at this hotel. I said, Pastor, I want to ask you something. Man, have you always been this cool? How did this come about for you? You know, because everything has a formula. Everything has a formula. For me, a guy, man, that want to be my all-time great is, my friends laugh about this back home when they see this, but David Ruffin. It's one of my absolute goals, you know, was the Temptation. It was the lead Temptation. You know, the number one song for Motown, My Girl, that first number one hit for the Temptations. Well, no, it was our second number one hit. But it was the song of all songs for Motown. You know, so if you got to pick somebody that you want to emulate yourself to be like, let it be somebody, man, that's made a difference in this world, some kind of way or another. Music makes people feel good. Arthur Blank, not only does he have this pristine persona, but at the very same time, he's a give back to the community. You have to go no further than over there to, oh God, what area is that right there? Vine City.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because he was to put Vine City to work to help build a dome. Tom Ford, who revitalized Gucci. Now you catch a pair of Gucci's during the era that Tom Ford was with Gucci. Those are the ones to have. You'll have those shoes right there forever, the quality when he was there. You know, Puffy, what he did for the music industry. And at the very same time, helping so many, especially black men and women, who were in a place of wherein they needed a hand up and not a hand out. Because somebody hands you a contract and it affords you the ability to be able to make millions of dollars. You understand me? So for everybody I've named, there's a backstory in my mind that we all could take note from. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so I would say, you know, find that. You know, find that. Just find it. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't make mention of my father was a tailor-made guy. My first prom, I wore a tailor-made suit that belonged to my grandfather. So I come from, you know, some guys, man, who could, you know,
very polished,
very polished, very stylish guys. You know, and I got it early. I got it very, very early on. My dad, as a little side note, whenever he wore his dress shoes, would never put his shoes back in the closet without first polishing them. So when he pulled them out, his shoes were already ready to go. Right. So, yeah, just find what excites you. We all have something that excites us when we see it. Emulate it. Just make sure that what you find is somebody that's a bright star. Let it be a bright star. Let it be somebody that's made a difference in this world some kind of way or another. And the rest will fall right where it's supposed to fall.
Okay, indeed. Yeah. All right. I mean, dropping some very helpful jewels. It's, you know, I think to be a gross understatement to say inspirational. Everybody out there, if you are watching this, make sure you like and subscribe and drop some comments down at the bottom. If you're on Facebook, make sure you find Ringside, the digital community. Go ahead and request to be added to the group, and either myself or one of the admins will accept you. Really quickly before we head out, do you have a website or some social media you want to drop so people can find you?
Yeah, social media presence right now is 2255 Custom Hats on Instagram. And we also have a website, 2255 Custom Hats. You can put us up there, and that's being actually worked on right now. So probably by the time this is shown, they'll be able to go to our website and be able to order.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm definitely peruse myself. The hats are definitely fly. I don't know if people still say that, but I still say that. I'm just keep them. They fly.
I think they fly too. I like that.
Right. I'm gonna keep that word going. But yeah, I think they're noticeable. I think they're eye-catching in a great way. So you'll certainly be hearing from me. And number one, again, thank you for this interview. I think you dropped some great jewels. Go ahead.
Let me say one thing before we leave. Actually, what it's called enclosed cognition. Maybe around a little over a decade or whatever, two guys who coined that phrase. And actually what it means is how you feel whenever you put your clothes on, whenever you get dressed. So it's a part of our caveat in designing custom hats because you design it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you put anything on that, you can say, man, this is what I did. You know, I helped to create this. You know, it raises a level of consciousness in a man. As a matter of fact, it was actually introduced as far back as in biblical days, where Paul says in Philippians 4, verses 8 and 9, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are pure, whatever things of good report, whatever you cast your thoughts upon. See, if you see it as being good, as being great, whatever your taste is, you know, whatever your taste is, you see it being good, you see it being great. That's exactly what it'll be. As a matter of fact, William James, the father of American psychology, said maybe around the turn of the 19th century, if you tell yourself a lie long enough, you'll believe it. Because we've all been somewhere where a guy's had on something that you didn't necessarily agree with, but this guy was a peacock, man. It's called enclothed cognition. How you feel when you put your clothes on. So you come to 2255, we'll do our absolute best to enclose you in a hat, man, that you can feel absolutely great about. And matter of fact, the quality of it is so that your sons or your grandsons, and this is for women too, because we make women hats as well. Mm-hmm. But they're hats that you'll be able to pass on, you know, to your daughters or to your sons, your granddaughters, your grandsons. That's our plan. And to be around the world.
All right, we're going global, y'all.
We're going global, better believe it.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the way I like to end it. Everybody out there, this has been Ringside. This has been another Corner Confessions. We are doing it big. Make sure you find this brother, support him, get some fly hats, because I know I will. And we will catch you guys next time, all right? Peace.